So this is going to be part 2 of 30 things that I've learned in 30 years. Let's get right off the bat. A lot of the mistakes and problems in your life are ultimately your fault. This goes for everybody. You are the common denominator in everything that happens in your life. Everybody you know, everywhere you go, everything that happens to you, the only common denominator between all of those things entirely are you. Now, that's not to say other people cannot wrong you. That's not to say that sometimes chance happens and you are in the wrong place at the wrong time. But ultimately, most of the problems you have in your life are your fault. Right? It doesn't make you a bad person, it simply makes you human. If you don't get enough attention from men or women or whatever, it's not their fault that they don't like you. This will come into the next thing I'm going to talk about. It's ultimately your fault for being unlikable. The next thing I'm going to talk about. You are entitled to nothing. You are not even entitled to health. You are entitled to absolutely nothing in this life. If you want something, you have to earn it. You don't get to, you're not entitled to sex. You're not entitled to money. You're not entitled to prestige. You're not entitled to health. You're not entitled to family. You're not entitled to anything. You have to earn those things. Everything. The only thing that you are entitled to in this life is the smog you breathe and the pond water you drink. Other than that, you get nothing. Nobody owes you anything. If you want to be respected, you have to be a respectable person. If you want to be loved, you need to be lovable. You don't just get handed anything. And if you try to go through your life lying, cheating, and stealing your way into getting what you want, you're going to meet your downfall, and it's not going to be a good one. And that's on this earth. Wait till you get into the next life and see what happens if you try to go that way. You may be able to get some fast money here and there, and things might work out for you for right now, but remember, if you go through your life like that, there will be a target on your back. I know a lot of people who, were criminals, and that's how they earned their money. They may have dealt drugs, they may have worked for the mafia, whatever. Those people will tell you, if they're still alive, that it's not the way to go. There is a target on your back if you go that route. So, honesty, integrity, kindness, these are things that will make your downfall a good one. We all will meet our downfall. We all have a time and a place, But the thing is, when it's time for you to go, most people would rather have a nice way out, surrounded by family and friends, old, lying in a nice bed or something like that, maybe in your sleep. That's not how you go if you lie and cheat and steal your way through life. So that'll be 2 things. So number 4, I guess, is diet and exercise and sleep. These are 3 very important things in life. All this talk about the grind and, gotta hustle, you need to eat right, which depends on who you are. You might want to go to a doctor and have them talk to you about, if you need to gain weight, there's healthy ways to gain weight. You don't sit around and eat fried food. I gained 20 pounds in the last few months. Maybe 6 months, I've gained 20 pounds. and they're all healthy. The most unhealthy thing I do is I have a couple full-calorie beers, and even that's the most nutritious alcoholic drink there is. But I've been eating high carbs, high protein, high calorie foods, nothing fried. That stuff goes right through you. Nice home-cooked pasta. Pasta is really good if you want to gain weight. It's cheap, and it's easy to make. It's really a lot more simple than it looks. You just crack it open, you put it in the pan, a little bit of salt in the water, a little bit of oil in there to keep them from sticking together. Boil it for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and you got yourself a good high-calorie meal. If you want to lose weight, eat non-breaded chicken. Have some vegetables. Eat smaller meals. Use smaller plates, and if you use a blue plate, it will make you less hungry. That's why they have blue plate specials at diners or whatever. You use the smaller blue plates, they make you less hungry, and people have a tendency to fill whatever vessel they have, whether it be a shopping cart or a plate or or a room. People have a tendency to fill that to capacity. So the smaller you have that plate, the less food you're going to put on it, and it will look like you're eating a full meal. Steamed vegetables without any seasoning on it is good. Cut off fast food. Drink coffee in the morning if you want to lose weight. It's a stimulant, but it's a lot healthier than sodas and stuff. So you drink that will help you out. Cut out alcohol entirely. Technically, cigarettes would make you lose weight, but that's probably bad. So you probably shouldn't do that, because even though it would make you lose weight, it will also kill you. Marijuana, not very good if you want to lose weight. I don't smoke anything, but if you want to lose weight, you should probably cut that out of your routine as well. But these things: exercise every morning, 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 squat thrusts. I do probably about 25 full pull-ups, slow pull-ups, and I do a run around the apartment every morning when I wake up. It's free, it costs you absolutely nothing, and it keeps you in shape. Though I do have a bit of a belly, my core is actually super strong. If your abs are showing, that usually means you just don't eat enough. You can have a very strong core and not have visible abs. And sleep. Always get a good night's sleep. Read a book instead of watching TV or computer screens. Screens, they mess with your eyes. They keep your eyes from blinking. They keep you stimulated too much. So read a book, a paper book, like an actual physical paper book. Don't read a Kindle or something. It has to be a paper book. Read that before you go to bed. A little bit of a melatonin gummy or something like that. That'll help you out. Try to stay away from alcohol before too close to bedtime, because it will actually interrupt your REM sleep and cause you to wake up during the night sporadically. It'll get you to sleep quicker, but it will... Jesus. It will get you to... It'll also keep you awake. So stay away from that stuff. Keep your bedroom cool. Probably between 50 and 60 degrees. That'll help your body temperature drop, and it will help you get to sleep faster. Also, a very hot shower right before bed will also help you plummet your body temperature, and it'll get you to go to sleep quicker. What's another thing? So another 5, or actually, this would technically be 20, wouldn't it? Because I'm starting from 15, so 20. Appreciation for other people's passions. You may not enjoy what somebody is interested in, but you should always have an appreciation for their passion, because this is something that they hold very dear. I don't know much about carpentry, but I have a friend of mine that's a carpenter, and he really appreciates good woodworking. It could be anything from like a frame like that to a cabinet. Like, he really gets he'll sit there and he'll comment on like how precise the measurements are and how even the corners are and how smooth everything. And I don't know much about carpentry, but it's very, I appreciate that somebody's interested in that. Or you may not like this person's favorite kind of music. Maybe he likes country music and you don't know anything about country music, but you should still appreciate that he has those things. If you're a parent, get an interest in what your child is interested in. It'll create the quality bonding time, especially if you're a parent of teenagers or something like that, because teenagers never want to do anything with you. So find out your teenager's favorite band or whatever, and generally get in and start listening to the songs and starting to get into it. Don't be cringe about it. They're gonna, or it won't be cool anymore. But casually bring up, maybe they like Billie Eilish, and your listeners like, so how about her performance on the whatever the award was? It's like, just casually bring that up, or something like that. Like my dad and I, we both huge wrestling fans. We both love pro wrestling. We both love DC Comics. I'm more of an Image guy now, but I do. He likes Batman. I like Wonder Woman. But still. Or we both love Sherlock Holmes stories. Like, I can actually go on and tell you like in detail every Sherlock Holmes story. I can actually summarize them. My favorite one is The Empty House, but we'll get onto that later. But this allows us, even as a 30-year-old man, I can sit there or we both love Jacksepticeye. We watch him so much, and we'll sit there and watch this together. It gives you the ability to bond, which leads me to 21. Enjoy the time you have with your family members while you have it, even if you can't stand them. Enjoy the time you have with them, because you won't have them forever. If your parents or your grandparents or family, whatever, if they wronged you, like I know a lot of people who are gay or bi or whatever, a lot of them, their parents disown them. Their parents abandon them. If you can find someone else, find someone else. You're not stuck with the parents you're born with. Somebody says you only get one mother, you only get one father. That's not true. You can also choose family, and if that's the case, find them. But either way, appreciate the time you have with them. Grandparents and great-grandparents especially so. I wasn't always good to my grandmother in my teen years, because as a teenager, most teenagers are, I was just an absolute brat. And luckily, she lived long enough that I could make it up to her as an adult. But now my grandmother has dementia. She doesn't know who I am. She doesn't know anything about me or most of the family. She's on her way out now. She's 90. Or she'll be 90 in February if she makes it. And, it's just hard to see somebody who you were half raised by. Anytime I wasn't in school, I was raised by her. To see her, she doesn't know who you are. I actually haven't spoken to her in over a year and a half, not since 2 Christmases ago, and over the phone. I haven't seen her in person in longer than that, because I can't. So what I'm going to tell you is to appreciate the time you have with the family and friends that you have, because you're not going to have them forever. 22. Confidence. As a teenager, I was very insecure. I used to be a compulsive liar because I could never believe that anyone would like me for who I really was. I was afraid to look weird. I was afraid to be myself because I didn't like myself. I didn't like who I was. And that caused me to lie a lot. That caused me to walk around, slump down like this. As a 30-year-old, I am far more confident in myself. So if you're a young person now and you're down on yourself and you don't want to keep going, you can't imagine it's going to get better from here, I can guarantee you that as you get older, you will care less and less about what other people think, and you will know yourself stronger than you do now. And as depressed as I was in my late teens, early 20s, I'm extremely confident now at 30. When I walk into a room, I own that room. That's my room now. And I firmly believe that. I'm not arrogant. That's a problem. I was actually quite arrogant in my younger days, too. I was put into a school where I didn't have to try to excel. I just did because it wasn't designed for... It was designed for special needs, but it was designed for the higher supports level autism. It wasn't designed for the, super genius kind of autism that I have. So I was very arrogant. And that caused me, as an adult, when I went from being the big fish in the small pond, from being the small fish in a big pond, to get my ass handed to me by life. Oh my god. And that it was something I needed I needed that. So, but understand that you are of value. You deserve as much as anyone else deserves. You're not entitled to anything. But if you work hard and you learn to accept your own faults and you learn to accept help from others and you find your faults and work on them to improve them. So, for instance, one of my natural faults is I can't read body language. So I started to learn sign language. Now, I understand only a little sign language. But sign language is so much body language involved in speaking that by learning sign language, I'm actually teaching myself body language as well. So I know the difference between a what and a what and a what. These things teach me, and I've strengthened those. I was very scrawny and very, weak and scrawny, and so I started gaining weight and I started exercising to build up my body. Because having a strong mind having a strong mind in a weak body is like putting a quantum computer processor inside of a 1970s calculator. Doesn't really do much, does it? So you have to have the strong body as well. That was a weakness I had, and I built on that. You'll never become perfect. That's God's job, not yours. But you can become well-rounded by finding your own weaknesses and your own faults and improving on them. And maybe it's something internally. Maybe my fault is I'm too judgmental. So by finding other faults in yourself, you will learn to not be able to judge other people because you'll understand where you are as a person. Anyway, 24, I guess. 24. what somebody says about you and how they see you is a direct reflection of how they see themselves. If somebody calls you a mean name, they feel that about themselves. If somebody compliments you, that's something that exists inside themselves. Nobody can fix it takes one to know one, and nobody can see something in you that doesn't exist in them to begin with. 25. Meeting up in person is important. It's nice to have friends online, and they qualify as friends just the same as anyone else. But having friends you can actually go outside and you can go bowling with, or go out and play basketball or something like that. These are important things. And as you get older, it can be harder to find friends, but you'll find it easier to keep them. 26 now? 26. Wear one mask. Most people in life wear 3 or 4 masks. There's the mask you wear when you're at home and you're by yourself and you don't think anyone's around. There's the mask you wear at work or at school. There's the mask you wear outside of work or school when you're in public and you're with your friends or whatever. And some people have the mask they wear when they're online. Wear one mask. Be the same person online that you are in real life. Don't feed people BS, because that's actually unhealthy mentally for everyone that's looking at your so-called perfect life. And it's unhealthy for you because you're building yourself up to unreasonable standards. When you see me online like this is me. There's a reason I don't put on my makeup, and I don't, have a fancy set, and I'm not yelling and screaming and all. This is me. This is the me you would meet in real life. If you were to see me walking down the street and say hi, I would be no different here than I would be there. If you saw me at work, I'm the same person. I'm literally by myself right now, talking to a camera, and this is the same me. We're having to wear all those different masks all the time. It's exhausting mentally. So just wear one mask. Be one person. 27. Be the person that you need. What I mean by that, if you need somebody who can protect you, protect others. If you need somebody to tell you, hey, you're doing something wrong, do that. If you need somebody who you can be vulnerable towards, be that person. If you want somebody to love you, love others. "28. Being physically attractive is attainable for everyone to an extent. And it does help. That anyone who tells you that beauty is only skin deep, that might be technically true, but it's misleading. I've had people think I'm attractive. I don't see it myself personally, but I do work on it. I learned how to do makeup. I've started working out. I've started gaining weight. I dress nicer. I'll wear nice button-down shirts and clean blue jeans and sweaters and nice dress shoes. I dress nicer. I wear nice sunglasses. I do my hair nice. These are all things that I've done to make myself more attractive. And it does benefit you. There are doors open for that. If you're somebody who honestly thinks that someone is just entitled to love you because you're nice to them, you're a jackass. You're nice to people because it's the right thing to do. Because it's just the way that that society behaves. You get nothing for basic common decency. Now, if you carried a girl out of a burning building and you're not a fireman, you're just some dude that ran in there, or you saved her kid or something like that, that's a level of nice that's beyond expectations. You should get at least a kiss on the cheek or something for that. At least a dinner date. But if you hold the door open for somebody, I hold the door open for men too. It's just a common decency. You're never entitled to that. But you can make yourself more attractive. It's possible. Will this be 28? 28. Never give up. Life will kick your ass, and it only kicks your ass harder as you get older. You need to stand up and just ask, thank you, sir, may I have another? You need to take it. Dying of old age is the most honorable death you can have. It means you won. If you die of old age, literally back in ancient Sparta, the elderly were considered like about as high as a king. Spartan soldiers would stand up and offer their seat to you if you were an elderly man or an elderly woman. They were considered to be the most honorable people because they did not give up. They literally fought life itself and managed to stay. And they managed to live in Spartan culture to an old age. There is honor in growing old. And you cannot do that if you give up. 29. Don't stop moving. Most of the problems that elderly people have is because they stopped moving. Again, like giving up. If you keep doing the things you're doing in your 30s into your 80s, you will continuously be able to do those things. But 30. Know your limits. Do not push yourself farther than you can. Don't do drugs. Don't drink too much. Don't smoke anything. These are all limits everyone has. But also, if you're in pain, you need to sit down. If you are out of breath, you need to rest. If you're crashing because you're too tired, you need to sleep. If you're in pain because you're hungry, you need to eat. If you're stuffed and you can't put any more food in there, you can't put any more food in there. Know your limits and accept them. Alright, thank you very much, and I hope to see you again at 31.